Hi guys, this is Ginjo coming back from Londonsaurus again with another episode of Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 5. What another amazing episode, brilliant episode again, coming back from where we picked off from last week. Break it down for you step by step. Honestly, all the fights that we're hoping to see next week has all started. We've had new elements introduced to the episode. Brilliant episode, and I can't wait to break it down with you guys. Again, please like and subscribe. It would really help. Click that notification bell. It would really help to be able to get more videos like this for yourselves out there. So let's get in. This episode, we get to see Mitsuri join the fight properly. What a badass she is. Also, we get to see Moichiro and Gyoku get to start their fight too as well again. But yeah, we completely get in there. Picked up from what we left off last week, whereby Moichiro and Kotetsu were running together to go and be able to get one of the swordsmiths that Kotetsu begged Moichiro to help, which Moichiro gladly accepted because he had no choice, to be fair, was begging him. But on their way, we see one of the swordsmiths that originally, the reason why, the one that was repairing Moichiro's sword, the one that he came to look for Tanjiro in the other episode, that he woke him up from sleep. He was asking him, and Tanjiro decided to help him go and look for that swordsmith. So apparently they gave him kind of a replacement sword to be able to use before that guy helped repair his sword and got a new sword for him, and that's why he was looking for Tanjiro. So a stroke of luck, really. We see one of Yoku's abominations trying to attack a swordsmith when they were running to go and save Mr. Hazama, that Kotetsu begged for them, but they ran into one of, again, Gyoku's abominations, trying to kill one of the swordsmiths that was trying to hide on a tree. So it was actually the guy that Moichiro was repairing Moichiro's sword. Moichiro has never met him before, so he met him. Moichiro was able to slice immediately, make short work of that fish monster, of Gyoku's fish monster, and killed it completely and saved that swordsmith. When he came up, he was like, "Thank you very much for saving me." Moichiro was like, "No big deal, I'm a Hashira, I'm used to it, this is business as usual." Amazing episode again. We see him talking, and he was quite happy to see Kotetsu, to be fair, and he was like calling him young lord. I think Kotetsu is one of the noble families of the swordsmith village, to be fair. It seems very important, which is quite good too as well. But Moichiro heard his name, and he kind of, "Oh, are you the person that's meant to give me a sword?" And he was like, "Let me see your sword." And he was like, "It's quite chipped and it's quite bad, really." And it's like, "Yeah, that's perfect timing because I've got a sword ready for you, for Moichiro." So hopefully that would help Moichiro fight a bit better. And he literally said something surprising that, "Yeah, Tanjiro told me about you," because I think after that he just went off fighting. But Tanjiro was able to kind of find the swordsman and kind of explain to the swordsman that, "Don't worry about like Moichiro. He's a good guy. He's just worried about his duty." So Tanjiro literally put in a word for Moichiro, and the swordsmith guy was telling Moichiro that Tanjiro said, "I should take care of you and I should be more understanding towards you. I've got a sword ready for you. Let's go to the shed. I'll give it to you." So both of them just steam off to that shed, running together, like three of them all together, going forward. And when they were running, they completely, I think Moichiro sensed a presence of Gyoku, fifth upper moon, and that little vase thing is very vague because he hides himself really well. He's very covert. This kind of mission is his specialty, as I did say last week. But yeah, Moichiro completely stopped. There's like, "There's someone here. There's a demon here. So hold on." So he completely paused immediately, and we see Gyoku's pot come out like a creepy weirdo that he is. And he completely comes out of the port in his grand, appearance that he always does. He's quite proud of his appearance. He's quite grotesque, if I'm being honest, but he shows himself. And then completely cut off to the village, whereby one person was raising an alarm. Those fish monsters of Gyoku, his clones, his demon art, causing a massive ruckus. But just in the nick of time, we see Mitsuri, the love Hashira, make her grand appearance. Honestly, this is just a beautiful way to introduce the love Hashira, Mitsuri, into the fight. She's absolutely amazing. This is why, honestly, she is such a badass, without no doubt. She makes short work of one of those, like almost 10 of those fish weirdo monsters that Moichiro keeps. I don't want to start scaling who's top stronger in all the Hashiras, but I've seen a Flame Hashira fight. I've seen the Mist Hashira fight. He's quite quick. He's quite young too as well. I've seen Mitsuri fight now. She is on top of her game. She sliced them within seconds, complete seconds. She sliced like 5 of them. She didn't even waste time. She was still on the move running, but she was able to slice like 5 of them and completely kill them and just move on to the next one. Completely absolute badass. I'm gonna play the scene over and over again. I'm kind of liking her now. Quite fit, sexy too as well. Very cute. You know, it's like she's not even doing anything. But we cut back to one of the mansions of the elders of the swordsmith village, and we see one of his bodyguards, one of the swordsmith guys, trying to protect him. We see one of the biggest abomination of what is so-called Gyokus are. It's a fish monster, the biggest ever, with 4 pots behind its back. On one hand, holding the old man, the eldest of the village, swordsmith village guy. On the other hand, you know, crushing into bits, crushing another person at the verge of eating them. Massive abomination. And we see one of them trying to protect him, almost at the verge of eating him, but Mitsuri makes her appearance completely. Boy, honestly, we see her sword, and one of the swordsmith there. As soon as she appeared, he started kind of like, you know, simping over her and saying, "Oh my God, I've never seen it. I've heard stories about her sword. Her sword is a bendy sword." So he was even wondering that did the elder himself, the old guy that she came to save, actually forge her sword, because it's quite an impossibility. It's literally like one of those rope thing. It's like a blade, but it's a rope. It's wrapped around, so it makes it easier for her to be able to do her love breath formations too as well. But she made light work of that weird abomination fish monster, completely obliterated him, cut all the pot. In fact, she didn't even have to cut. She knew that the pots were his weak point. She cut off the legs within seconds, cut off the pots too as well. I don't know how she does it. I just see slashes, to be honest, but absolutely stunning animation. I'll play the scene again for yourselves. Completely saves the old guy. The old guy, bit of a perv, you know. You can literally see him like coughing blood and stuff like that, and him saying, "Oh my God, look at me, damaged, but I'm so glad I'm alive." That in the hands of a young and beautiful lady like yourself, and the other guy is like, "Oh, I'm injured too as well. Can you please come and hold me?" He seems very oblivious to how they're simping about her, to be honest. But she's quite sweet, she's quite nice, and she literally wants to help him. And the old man was like, "No, I'm first, get away from her," and stuff like that. It's quite a funny scene, to be fair. But yeah, we completely cut back to Tanjiro and Nezuko. The last time we see the 3 path of Hentengu, like completely obliterated Nezuko and Tanjiro to the floor. They're completely passed out. But in this scene is good because it seems like they've woken up. We see Nezuko under the building holding Tanjiro and making a run for it, completely running through the halls of the villa that they were fighting in earlier on. But we see that Hentengu's body, the leader holding the thunder orb, just completely obliterate them with lightning. You know, it's quite hard to get away from lightning. Nezuko did an amazing job holding Tanjiro too as well, but she passed out. They struck her with one of the lightnings. Then Tanjiro carried her completely and started running with her, trying to evade all the attacks inside. And I think one of the bodies of Hentengu, the leader guy, instructed the one with the fan to be able to follow and catch them. And he completely went on the chase and he blew one of those fans, but Tanjiro's trying to outrun it completely there. But he's just trying to evade it. And literally him and Nezuko run, but he was able to blow Nezuko and Tanjiro out of the window with his fan. So Nezuko was able to hold Tanjiro's sword. It's quite hard for her because obviously those demon slayer swords are not meant for demons to hold because it actually hurts them. But we see Nezuko hold it and the whole building was shattered because of that fan. It's quite a powerful fan that one of Hentengu's body normally uses, that fan that he uses, but everywhere is a rubble. We see Tanjiro in the rubble. There's a Misty. We see casually Hentengu's three bodies are walking by, talking about it. Smoke, when the smoke clears, would kill all of them and just move on completely. They're not aware that Tanjiro and Nezuko are under the rubble. But we see Nezuko do a very, very interesting thing, though. She literally forcefully holds Tanjiro's sword, and it's like she wants to stab herself with it, which is quite weird. And Tanjiro's like, "What are you doing, Nezuko? Please let go, please let go, please let go." He's kind of begging her to let go of this sword, and he's like, and she's not letting go, and she's in demon form too, so you can tell that it's hurting her. But yeah, we quickly cut off to the next scene, which we see Moichiro and Gyoku's fight. Finally, we get to see Moichiro and Gyoku go head to head. One of the most fights that we've been waiting for too. So obviously, Moichiro has those two swordsmiths to worry about behind his back, but it starts in earnest now because we see Gyoku come up with his weird limbs, weird little hands out of the pot, saying that, okay, since it's a Hashira and two other spots, he's gonna present, because obviously there's a shed and they want to go and get Moichiro's new sword, but apparently Gyoku is saying that they didn't even try too much to hide the shed because he's been here and seen it. He said the first thing he's going to do is going to show, seems like he's an art lover, most weird to be fair, weird art lover to be fair. So yeah, he said he's going to show them his art. So he brought another pot out. Before you know it, he claps his hands, and this grotesque art form, kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like a totem pole of all the swordsmith that he killed, stacked with all the swords that were in the shed too as well. So apparently Kotetsu and the other swordsmith, all their family members jumbled together, killed, crippled, and mashed together into this deformity that he made into an artwork, and stabbed all of them with swords. Quite grotesque, honestly. I felt bad for Kotetsu because he couldn't be able to handle it, bless him. Obviously, he's a kid, and he did say uncle, and one of them, he called their name. So they're all family members in the village anyway. They're all related somehow in the swordsmith village, but all of them were crying, and, Gyoku was trying to taunt them because he was trying to stab it more. And it seems like somehow they're in suspended animation. So some of the swordsmiths in the grotesque artwork of his are alive, but Moichiro couldn't take it. He was very quick and smooth. He didn't even say first formation, missed formation. He just went completely for Gyoku's head. But Gyoku completely teleported. The good thing I like about Moichiro is when he's fighting, you can be able to see his thoughts. This is why, because he's quite the young Hashira that we know him, so we can be able to see his character development, how he learns abilities as a Hashira walking. So he tries to completely slice. He even starts slicing Gyoku's head, and Gyoku teleports on top of the roof again. And his Moichiro is trying to figure out. So this is not even that he's quick; it's teleporting. It's some kind of form of weird teleporting. And Gyoku went to and before you know it, again, Moichiro completely just flashed, just like Bleach, flash stepped and went to the roof and completely cut the pot. But he was able to cut the pot, and that pot disappeared. But apparently Gyoku has more than one pot. He appeared on another pot on the ground again, and he was a bit pissed off because it seems like that's one of his pots. So he has several pots that he can be able to make, and he can be able to come out several pots. So he was a bit angry that nobody appreciated his art, that Moichiro is not an art lover. Then he went serious. So we start seeing his ability. He brings out another pot. He makes this cute kind of weird goldfish thing that can be able to spew kind of like needle Jizo in Naruto, like, the needle thing that ninjas do. So they can be able to do that needle thing completely. But he did say something that kind of clicked in Moichiro's head. He mentioned this word that he did. He said that he lived a worthless life, and he is trying to save worthless lives of the swordsmith that he's trying to protect. And completely Moichiro went into this because he's lost his memory. Some of his memory started coming back. Apparently he starts remembering the time that he was attacked by the demon and his family was killed by some certain demon. We start seeing the face. You can't remember it fully because it's a bit foggy, but we start seeing a face of the kind of demon that attacked him. He said exactly the words that Gyoku is saying now too as well. So I'm not sure, but it might be Gyoku that actually killed, or it might be another demon, but we'll get to see. Spoiler alert, obviously, I know most of you don't know, but I'd wanted to wait to reveal this, but Moichiro is actually a descendant of Kokushibo. He's one of the Kokushibo's descendant. The kids that Kokushibo, I'm going to go into in a separate video who Kokushibo is and how he's related to the Mist Hashira. So Kokushibo was once a swordsmith, brother of Yorichi, the first ever demon slayer that learned all the formation, the sun breath user, the first original sun breath user. Kokushibo was his twin brother, which both of them became swordsmith. Kokushibo learned the crescent breath formation, and Tanjiro is also the the one that took over the will of Yorichi, and Kokushibo had kids before he became a demon, and those kids that he left and abandoned were Moichiro's descendants. So he's descendant from Kokushibo. But yeah, he starts remembering when the demon that killed him completely starts coming back to him over and over again when Gyoku was talking. But before you know it, Gyoku completely just attacks those swordsmith, which is quite a stupid thing. They should have legged it, to be fair. They shouldn't stay there. They're going to be used as a hostage situation. But he tries to attack the swordsmith. They're defenseless, but he could be able to attack them with those needles, the little goldfishes. He was there. Moichiro completely went there, which was out of character for him because he doesn't care about anybody's life apart from the mission. But he sacrificed himself. The needles actually hit him. Some of the needles hit him because he stood in front of it, protected Kotetsu and the other swordsmith guy, and he told him to leg it immediately. And Gyoku now is telling him now, worthless lives you tried to protect is very admirable. I hope you understand the poison is seeping in now. You're going to be dying quick. Slowly, and he gets into this trance. I'm sure he can boss it out anyway. Gets into this trance. He gets a bit slower, but he tries to attack him again. He starts cutting Gyoku's little limbs completely. Even with the poison, he's extremely quick as a Hashira Moichiro anyway. But yeah, he starts remembering that it was a hot summer's night. It was a hot summer's day when him and his family, it was very hot. They had to leave the door open, and I think that's how the demon came in and killed most of their families too as well, and attacked most of them. But yeah, we see Gyoku was able to entrap Moichiro with one of his blood demon arts. It seems like it's a vase kind of prison, or a kind of vase prison. It's called vase water prison, kind of like this guy's kind of like Kisame's water prison jutsu in Naruto too as well. So he kind of imprisoned his own is called the vast prison. He imprisons Moichiro in it. Moichiro is just having to get before he can be able to figure out how to be able to get out of that water prison. He would drown. His breath is starting to kind of get away because he can't slash it. I'm interested to see how he's going to get out of it, but slowly we cut through to Tanjiro and Nezuko. We see Tanjiro having one of those weird moments too as well, of kind of moment. He now tends to understand what Nezuko is trying to do. Apparently Nezuko is trying to use her blood and burnish the sword because her blood can be able to turn into burning. She's got her own demon art, so she's trying to use that one to make Tanjiro's sword extremely powerful too as well. Within that time, Tanjiro understands what she's trying to do, but Tanjiro has this weird flashbacks of all the people that have helped him up until now. The Wind Hashira, the Wind Hashira that helped him become a demon slayer, and Nezuko too as well, telling him, and also the flashbacks he's been having about Yorichi too as well. He doesn't know what it means too as well, but now it's all making sense too as well. And Tanjiro was able to control that sword and be able to understand that he's starting to understand that the sun breath and the Kagura dance that his dad has been doing, that's been passed over all these generations in his family, is all the same. And that's the reason why he keeps on seeing these visions of the first ever demon slayer. Yorichi too as well. And Tanjiro went into this savage mode. Honestly, I can't wait to show you this episode. Tanjiro completely confronts them with a burning sword, and completely has the resolve of a demon inside. So all the three paths of Hentengu line up there looking at him. And obviously the hot-headed one, the stupid one, the one with the feathers, tried to attack him first. The smartest one, which is the one with the orb guy, just stood there and he started literally having flashbacks of, obviously because they can be able to access Muzan's memories too as well, because he gave them their blood to become a demon so they can see his memory. And when he saw that sword, that form that Tanjiro took, and that stance, and before the bird guy was able to fly there, it was too late. But the demon, the other guy with the orb, the thunder orb, was able to notice, oh my god, this guy with the mark, and the markers, you can see Tanjiro's mark becoming like Yorichi's mark, being more prominent. And Tanjiro also used this sun breath Kagura dance formation that he's never used before. It's absolutely epic. I have to play this scene so many times for you guys to understand how epic it is. It was too late. Tanjiro had already gone into beast mode. At that point, that slash, Tanjiro was at Hashira level. I don't know what happened, but he realized, he saw a flashback of the Yorichi that actually cornered Muzan himself and actually nearly took Muzan's head off. He literally said, this guy reminds me of the stance. He looks exactly like that demon that cornered Lord Muzan and nearly took his head. Wait, this is bad news. He literally knew it, but it was too late. Tanjiro did this dragon Kagura swirl, completely took not only one, three of their heads, the three Hentengu's body, took all of their heads in one swirl, one formation, completely all of them, one after the other, took all of their heads. Absolutely amazing. Honestly, one of the best scenes of this episode, hands down. Animation, 10 out of 10. But yeah, we see him completely annihilate them. The last one with the orb, the most powerful one, actually used his stick to be able to block it, but it didn't do shit. Completely took their heads off. And at the end, I think he saw the other weaker body of Hentengu there, and we see Genya. Genya made an appearance, but at the back we see Genya, and Genya stabbed one of the bodies and took the head off like a savage, and he spared him on the tree. And we couldn't see Genya's face at first, but we saw a head of one of the Hentengu's body, the one that was crying, being a bit empathetic. But it was too late at that point. And Tanjiro was like, Genya, you're right. I'm happy you're right. I'm glad you were able to take his head off. And completely we see Genya turn around. And when Genya turned around, we saw him actually take the form of a demon. This is the first time that Tanjiro ever understood what Genya's ability is. I think after a while he would get it. Tanjiro is frightened. He's scared. Why does Genya look like? You can tell that Tanjiro is scared that maybe Genya has become a demon. Yeah, absolutely amazing episode. Tanjiro is completely frightened, but that's where the episode ends. I can't wait for next week's episode for me to see Genya, and obviously Genya would explain, and Tanjiro would know that he's not actually become a demon or anything. That's his ability. But we get to see the continuation of fights of Moichiro and Gyoku, and also we get to see more of Mitsuri, the love Hashira too as well. Can't wait for it again. I can't see more of Tanjiro's transformation in regarding his Kagura dance formation too as well. Absolutely amazing episode. Please, guys, smash that notification bell again. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make more content for you guys. So YouTube would help, make our videos available for yourself too as well. And see you guys next week.